In number systems, the first thing you need to know are the different types of numbers. There are 6 of them that we'll cover in this video. There are many more, but you don't need to know them for the AQA course. So you have natural numbers, integer numbers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, real numbers, and ordinal numbers. Natural numbers are represented with this symbol n and can contain positive whole numbers and 0. So negative and decimal numbers won't be accepted. It's used for counting how many of a specific item you have. Integer numbers include both positive and negative whole numbers, so still no decimal numbers, and they do include 0. They're represented with the symbol Z and can have from -2 to 1, and obviously beyond that. Rational numbers, also called quotients, can, but they don't have to have a fractional part. They can be positive, negative, or 0, and now can be decimal and are represented with the symbol Q for quotient. Essentially, if a number can be written exactly as one number over another, then it is rational. And all whole numbers are like this as well, because all whole numbers are still themselves if put above 1. Irrational numbers can't be written exactly as a fraction, and they have no symbol to represent them with, like the N, R, or Q. Now the most notable example of this would be pi, but you can have square root of 2, square root of 3, e. Moving on to real numbers, that contains everything we've just gone over, all the possible real-world quantities, and essentially covers every single number that we've just learned about. It's represented with the symbol r. And finally, the only number that isn't included in real numbers are ordinal numbers, which contain integers describing the numerical positions of objects or items in relation to others. So when we index items in arrays, that's an ordinal number. We're using 0 to represent the first item, 1 to represent the second, and so forth. And first, second, third, and fourth are all ordinal numbers. So for counting and measuring, if you're counting something, you should use natural numbers, the n, and if you're measuring a quantity, you should be using real numbers, r. When you're counting certain items, it's very specific what you can have, and you can't have negative of something. When you're measuring something, it could be anything. If the weight goes off, it could be negative. It's typically decimal, so you're better off using all numbers. So to just quickly recap, we have natural numbers, integer numbers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, real numbers, and ordinal numbers. These are my sources for this video. I hope you learned something and enjoyed, and yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.